Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of the Bill Crane Report. My friend Dwayne Weiss is here at my side, and we are ready to impart what passes for wisdom.
Yeah, we're pretty liberal with that word.
Yeah. So we left off last show. We were working on some problems and didn't get too far, but we had some nice chatter. So I skipped a question because I said, Dwayne, we don't have enough time to really talk about this. To me, this is a situation that a country such as the U.S. should not have. So let me ask you, will we as a nation ever address the homeless problem? If so, how? Or should we do anything bearing in mind what we've done to the Indians in this country for the past 175 years or so?
Well, I don't think we'll ever eliminate homeless.
No,
No country has.
In one of his teachings, Jesus also said the poor will always be with us.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that the basics of life, medical care, education, freedom from hunger, clean water,
Yeah.
and a place to hang your hat, seems to me that while those are not rights that are expressed in our Constitution, it's the kind of thing that we've come to expect as a civilization. And the situation out in Los Angeles and San Francisco, the stuff you see on TV of them sleeping on sidewalks with little pup tents over them and using the gutter as a toilet, and people going to work and dodging around and trying to figure out how the heck to get through all of these tents. And then trying to get into a building, and here's two guys sleeping on the steps. How do you step over them? And that's just not right. Now, I know there are people that sort of like to wander the West. I like sleeping under the stars, and I don't want to be confined in a house. But there's also an awful lot of ex-mental patients out there.
That's part of the problem. I think there's a lot of mental problems.
Alcoholics.
Yep.
And drug addicts.
Drug addicts.
And when I was working with street people in Boston a few years ago, I said something like that, and I was contradicted. And because a fellow said, and a combination of all three. Drunks, mental patients, and drug addicts.
Yep.
You know. So how the devil do we do it? Look, in Boston, we had the South End. Now, they had some of those old brownstones, and they had them all whacked up inside. So you had 12 or 14 or 16 studio apartments in there. Then you get some rich guy comes along, buys the damn building, and throws everybody out, renovates it into a mansion, a single-story home, and charges $2 million for it.
Yep, that's...
Now, well, hooray for him. He bought something for $500,000, put $500,000 into it, and made $1 million.
Right.
And maybe I'm exaggerating.
No,
but,
I think that's probably fairly accurate.
So that's a success story. Except what do we do with the 10 or 15 people that got kicked out? Where do they go?
Yeah.
Does anybody care? I don't think they do.
But most of the time, those people are not the ones that end up as a homeless group, though. They are set in society. They know that they have to find a place to live. They know they have to have a job. They have to some income and responsibility. It's those people will land on their feet. It's the people that, like we were talking about, the drug addicts, the alcoholic, the wanderer, or the guy they just don't care. Some of them, that's just their lifestyle.
You know, when I was volunteering with this outreach program, there was 3 of us, and one guy, we had a big van. One guy, and we used to solicit used clothing. And one guy would hand out clothing. We washed it and prepared, sorted it out and everything. And one guy would sit in the back of the van, and people would come up and say, "You're going to need socks, a sweatshirt or something." And we do the best we could. Now, the other guy sat at the side door of the van, and he had made a huge bucket of hot coffee. And somehow or other we kept it hot all the way to Boston. And he would dispense, we made sandwiches, and he would dispense the coffee and sandwiches. And if we had snacks too, we used to get snacks from Roach Brothers, Framingham store. That's where this guy lived, was actually Needham, but the Framingham store. We had a great deal with them. We'd get pastries and snacks, and sometimes out-of-date fruit. And,
Sure.
So that was his job. He was he'd feed them. So I said, "Well, what the hell do I do?" And the guy said to me that ran it, said, "Bill, you're probably going to have the most important job of all." He says, "You're going to talk to the people and find out if they need help. Can we get them? Because we can get them into hospitals.
Yep.
We can get them into shelters. And we can get them to see doctors. We'll get a whole list of where we can go with people." He says, "You need to find out who these people are and talk to them." He's not every night, because you're not going to get to them.
Yep.
But we went in on Monday nights. But if I talked to 6 or 7 of them, I'd sit on the curb with them. I heard the damnedest stories you ever heard in your life.
Oh, I can imagine.
One sticks with me. I even have nightmares about it. He went on the road when he was 10, ran away from home. And I said, "Wow, 10? He said, "I had to." He said, "My mother disciplined me by throwing boiling water at me." And he pulled his shirt up like this. You wouldn't believe the mess that his side was. Your mother, the source of love, of support, she gave you life, and you became afraid of her, and she mistreated you like that. I mean, how can someone not be screwed up after that?
Yep. And she was screwed up too. She was obviously a mental case.
Yeah. But so many stories like that. So many stories. And I would invariably ask, how did you get hooked on drugs? And when did you start? Dwayne, I swear to you, the answer in 90% of the cases, I started at 14.
Yep.
And I started either with Budweiser or marijuana, or both.
More than likely it was coffee and caffeine and nicotine.
Yeah.
There's the 2 addictives. That's the first ones.
Yeah. And and he said, "Don't ever let anybody tell you marijuana is not a gateway drug." He said, "You can talk to every single person here that's got a drug problem, and they started with marijuana."
Yeah, it was easy and it was cheap. That's what
and they went up the ladder for a better hit.
Yeah.
And then you're hooked. But how do we break that?
That's a good question because there's so many things that have been tried that didn't work.
Yeah.
You remember when they tried the vouchers, Boston? They were discouraging giving the panhandlers money because they found out a lot of it was going to buy bottles of Thunderbird and drugs and everything else. So they said they got this idea that they'd purchase these little scripts, and they were like little vouchers. You could take it to CVS and use it for CVS stuff. You could take it to a grocery store and use it for a certain kind of groceries. They didn't want them.
No.
The guy, I don't want that. Give me $1.
Yeah.
You know?
Or they would take them and sell them.
They'll sell them, for half price or someplace, So that program went out the window.
Yep.
So
it's very difficult. Out in Salt Lake City, they have signs every place. Do not feed the elderly.
Yep.
We will take care of the elderly. Sign the Church of
Latter-day Saints.
Latter-day Saints. There was a park in downtown Salt Lake City, and they would bring a big travel bus in, and doctor and nurse in there. They would see everybody that wanted to be seen. They'd bring food in there, breakfast, lunch, dinner, clothing, and they said, do not give money to the elderly. They will drink it or buy drugs.
Yep.
We will take care of the elderly. Please pass them by. It's tough sometimes.
Yeah. Well, we used to go into Boston 3-4 times a week and get off on the expressway at what's exit 20 now, the Nealon Street exit. Yep. And going in the morning, we were there early enough. Once in a while, there was a panhandle, but coming out in the afternoon, it was backed up. It would make you take 10 or 15 minutes to get up on the expressway. And God, I've seen the characters that were panhandling.
I know.
This one woman, and she was, when I say woman, I don't mean an elderly. I don't, I'm not 50, 60 years old, or I'm a lot older than that. To me, anybody at 60 is a kid, but this was a kid. This was, to me, she was probably 20, if that.
Wow.
Would have been very good looking, but really haggard, just long, dirty hair and dirty. Yep. And she was going car to car to car trying to solicit money. But she was so stoned, she couldn't stand up. Yeah. And she'd get against the guardrail and she started to nod. She'd stand there and she'd nod, but she'd go to the next one. Like I said to Monica, you can't give her anything because it's just going to the corner and he's going to buy another thing of heroin. Yeah. She's got a heroin addiction, and that you're just enabling that addiction.
Yeah, and meth is even worse.
Oh, meth is terrible. Well, so is heroin, but meth is extremely addictive immediately.
Yeah, and drives you wacko.
Yeah,
I know. I don't know how we handle this. I don't know. You simply, Look, a very simplistic answer is we take them all, we lock them up, and we dry them out. Feed them, get them on their feet. And if it takes a year, so be it. Mm-hmm. But we put them back out there as a functioning human being, get them a job, and pray for the best. I don't know.
I don't know. We don't have an answer.
No, we don't.
You and I definitely don't. But society doesn't even have an answer to this.
No, they don't. No, in fact, society does a damn good job of ignoring this.
Oh, yeah.
I go into Boston quite often, and I go to Tufts Dental. That's my doctor, my dentist, rather. So I go in at least every 3 months, and then I got doctors in there I go see, or checkups. And I go in on the MBTA, I go to South Station, and let me tell you something, that's panhandlers heaven.
Oh, yeah.
They're all around South Station. The other day I was in there, and wow. I mean, and some of them were aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just got to say, I don't have anything. Keep moving.
Keep moving, yeah.
One guy, you got a couple of bucks? Obviously,
yeah.
price of panhandling has gone up or something.
know.
But what the devil? You close your eyes and you say, I don't want to get mushy about this, folks, but you close your eyes and you say, what would Jesus do? He wouldn't just brush by them. But I'm not God. I don't know. I know when I have change, I give it to them. But that's best I can do. But that's no solution to the problem.
No. No.
And Mayor Walsh,
You're dating yourself.
yeah, I sure am. I mean, he talks a good game. Well, we got to build this, or we got to build more housing for the. Yeah, well, listen, it ain't working.
He's
just talking out
he's
both
hot
sides
air.
of his mouth. Yeah. I don't know. Well, all right. I have another question for you. Now, if you had your life to live over, what changes would you make? And I'm just talking about major changes or major decisions or direction or not. Gee, I wish I hadn't got drunk that Friday night and scratched up the dad's new car or something.
That too.
Yeah.
That too. I don't really know. I'm not dissatisfied with my life. You are not either.
Right.
We married good women.
Excellent women.
That's singular, by the way, for each one of us.
That's right. Just
We've had multiple marriages here.
one ride on the merry-go-round.
Yeah, 50-some years. Well, and
We've had good jobs.
yeah, we had decent jobs. We didn't get rich, but we didn't starve either.
That's right. We provided for our families.
Yep.
Our families have done well.
We all had personal tragedies in our family.
Yep.
But our kids yours weren't any problem. Yours never got arrested and sent to jail or anything else, and mine never did either.
But kids are like computers, Dwayne.
Yeah, garbage in, garbage out.
That's it, you know. If you put good stuff in, you get good stuff out,
Yeah.
you know.
But would I change? Yeah, there was some things I'd do. Education-wise, I had some opportunities that I passed over, some graduate school opportunities to go to work for different companies. I should have taken that. I look back and I went through even the physical process to having the physical exams and everything else for Northwestern Life to be an actuary. Now, Micah, my wife says you would never last. You've been bored out of your mind. You know what an actuary is? Well, that one, a statistician is what he is. He determines rates and stuff and where the company's going to lose and how long is Joe going to live and what's the chance of this one getting cancer, et cetera, for the company.
Yeah.
And, well, somebody told me one time that the only difference between an actuary and an accountant, an actuary is an accountant without the excitement. So it's pretty boring, I guess. But they make big money. I mean, they making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year easy. These guys,
If you are
good at it, yeah. But I said, no, I don't want to go back to school. I want to start all over with another graduate program and stuff that they wanted you to go to. So I took the lazy way out, and I didn't go. I didn't do it. I should have done that. I should have done some other stuff. And I always tell my wife, I says, my biggest mistake is I should have married money. And she says, well, that's the same mistake I made. And I said, I thought you had money. I said, you came on a big dairy farm. And I said, you must be loaded. She says, well, you lived in town in a nice house. I thought you were loaded, and neither one of us had any money.
Ay.
So,
But it all worked out nicely. I would be tough. It would be tough for me to look at anything that I've done or not done that I would really feel strongly about doing over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a couple of things that I can think of, and I think I told you this before, that I was drafted, and they tested me and wanted me to go into Army intelligence, and but it was a 4-year sign-up rather than a 2, and I didn't do it. And that was dumb.
I did that program.
Yep.
And it was very rewarding. They taught you stuff that you'd never even imagined what it was. you're exposed to all kinds of different things.
You know, I was interviewed by, I don't know what his rank was. It's a mystery.
You never know with these guys. That's not, you go by special agent. That's your.
Yeah. And he said to me, do you know what I'm offering you? Mm-hmm. Do you know how few people
Oh, yeah.
we can actually grab and put in these positions? You're one of them.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do it. I don't understand, you know? And I'll be damned if I can't rationalize it to this day. For some reason or another, I didn't want to double up and go 4 years. But it never, ever, ever dawned on me that after basic training, everything would be different.
Oh, it's totally different. I mean,
Yeah. It'd be almost like being a civilian.
They're out in Fort Huachuchis or something out in Arizona now.
H-U-A, Huachuca, I don't know how you say it. Huachuca.
I went to the old intelligence school at Baltimore, Dundalk, Maryland, a suburb of Baltimore.
That's
and not a nice suburb either.
Fort Holabird.
Yeah, they used to call it Disneyland East.
Yeah. And that's what he told me. He gave me the whole spiel. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you something. And here's the worst part about it, is I was a doubting Thomas. Because this guy was telling me what I'd be doing and things of that nature. And I'm saying to myself, he's lying to me. It can't be this good.
It was fun.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, it was fun. But you were exposed to so much stuff. The whole intelligence community you got to work with.
Yeah.
Overseas, I worked with some CIA people. I worked with national security people, DIA, FBI. You know, I knew these people because you worked with them.
Yeah.
I even got a short assignment with the Secret Service when Rockefeller was running for president.
Right. Rocky.
Yep. That was an interesting experience. It's stuff you never get to do again.
Right, exactly. And I missed it. And I've been kicking my butt ever since. You know?
And he was right about there were so few of that group. At one time, now I don't know, I've been out of the service for over 50 years, but at one time when I was we were the 525 MI battalion at that point, if you look at your nomenclature. There was less than 300 or 400 of us in the world.
Wow.
That was it.
Yeah.
Now here, every state, I don't know what was here, but I know in the Midwest it would have been, for example, the state of Ohio probably would have had 12, 14, 20 people, the whole state. Mm-hmm. And other states had that same kind of, you had resident offices, you had a regional office and a resident office. The regional office was like the headquarters in Columbus, and I had the Northeast up. I had a resident office in Youngstown. And for a long time, it was just me. And then as they started coming back from overseas and stuff, I had 3 people, and at the end, I had 4. And we didn't have enough to do for 4. We didn't have enough to do for 2. So
you were fully staffed.
We were fully staffed, that's right. So I was the SACA, that's called SAIC, Special Agent in Charge. So there was no sense in just 4 of us sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, so 2 it on, 2 off. Just tell me where you are in case somebody from Columbus calls and wants to find you. But we took time off, you know. Yeah. But you didn't have it really. But what you did was interesting.
Yeah, and not only that, but if they called you at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, well, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Only if there was something going on.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. You've got to be prepared for 24/7. So you got to have some downtime too.
Yeah, I got caught in when Martin Luther King was assassinated.
Oh, yeah.
I was getting a haircut that afternoon, and the barber had the radio on. He says, "Uh-oh." And the riots started. They started burning cars and stuff. And I said, "Oh, God." I went home and walked in the house. Monica says, "The mayor's office is calling for you." I said, "Okay." I called him back, and "Why, but you're down here right now in the police chief's office." All right. Walked in, and the guy said, "I want the National Guard." Said, you know, I'm the only military people that's listed in the phone book, so that's the only person they could call. I said, I can't give you the National Guard. That's state. I says, I'm a federal employee, not a state employee. Well, what do you know? You got to call the governor's office, not me.
Surprised he didn't ask for the 101st Airborne Division. Ay.
And then I didn't get home for 3 days after that.
But you know what really burns me up is this guy sold me a bill of goods, or tried to sell me a bill of goods, and everything he told me was the truth.
Yeah,
and
but it doesn't seem like it.
No,
because I got the same story. I said, come on,
Yeah, I know. No. Shoot. Well, anyway, I'm very satisfied with the way my life turned out. As I say, there's nothing that I would really change of any.
And some of the things you couldn't change. There are certain health aspects that you couldn't have changed. You know, if you get diabetes, well, you can't change that. You just got it.
Got it.
I had a couple bouts with Lyme disease and some complications after that. You can't stop not getting Lyme disease.
I've had Lyme disease. I don't know how many times.
Unless you moved to Fiji or something.
A couple of times. I had it and didn't know I had it.
Yeah, that's the problem with it.
Well, I thought I had never had it. Mm-hmm. And then I got a strain of it, and they couldn't identify it. And they finally did. The University of Denver labs finally
the old days, they had a total. They'd find these antibodies.
Yeah.
And you said, when you went for a blood test, they said, well, you're loaded with some kind of antibody.
Yeah. Well, they sent my blood out there for some advanced test they have. And guess what they did? They found the marker for the strain of Lyme disease I had hiding in the other marker of a prior Lyme disease. Mm-hmm. I said, I never had Lyme disease before you. And Dr. Zickel said, you've had it twice before, Bill. Those markers don't lie.
But as far as changing anything, no, I guess not.
No, life has been good. I'm luckiest guy in the world. Interesting statistic. Statistics seems to. There was some on the TV this afternoon. There was others the other day. One of them is 55% of Democrats oppose Medicare for all and want to keep Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. The only people it's affordable for is those eligible for a government subsidy. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's much more expensive than other plans. That's a fallacy, that expensive. Whole thing. Yeah. But the Democrats are kind of in a corner here. It's been Obamacare. Good stuff, Obamacare. And now all of a sudden they're saying, oh no, we're going to toss Obamacare in the trash can and go with Medicare for all. And they're saying to themselves, no, wait a minute now. What do I want here? I've been saying Obamacare all along. So they've got a problem. This is my next topic. UA workers currently on strike. They want the health care plan strengthened, and they also want more money. Yep. And they've gone on strike. Currently, now folks, think about this. Currently, United Auto Workers pay 3% of the cost of their health care.
Yeah, if you listen to them, you'd think that every last cent they had was going to that health care. Yeah. That's ridiculous. I mean, today that's unbelievable.
I mean, if you can find a company that'll split it with you, you consider yourself lucky. Mm-hmm. They are paying, just say for instance, a family plan costs $2,000 a month. Yeah. 3% of that would be $60. Yeah. That's what they're paying.
And then I know we were always covered one way or another, either my employment or her employment, and so we never got into that expensive because when
Right,
we
right.
retired, then when Medicare or Social Security and Medicare kicked in. But I know my cousins they sold a lot of the farms and stuff, and they were paying over $2,000 a month for health coverage. I thought, oh my God.
Well, when I changed jobs once, I was left without health care. I was going to be left without health care for a couple of 3 months. You had to be there 3 months to get it. So I went and got COBRA from the people that I left.
Yeah.
So that meant I was paying the whole thing.
Yeah, I've had COBRA before.
Yeah, and I ended up $1,430 a month.
Yeah.
Which wife and 3 kids. I mean, I needed it, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what they were, $1,430, and I was only paying like $175 or $200 a month, healthcare. So
It's kind of hard to put a lot of sympathy with these people that
I know it.
are getting one good ride now, and they think that they're getting nothing.
Yeah, when you see the UAW workers walking, and they are being paid $63 of an hour when you combine the wages and the benefits. $63 an hour, and they want more.
Oh yeah.
Well, I suppose it's human nature especially since the contracts last 3 years or 4 years or whatever it is, whatever they sign, that you don't ask for a cut in pay.
No.
You ask for more, especially when General Motors is making money, which they picked General Motors to strike because they're making money where Ford is hanging on.
Yeah. Well, they pick one of the 3, and with the idea that whatever they settle with one, the other 2 will settle. It's to their benefit to do it because they only have to have one set of strikers. They don't have to have strikers at the other. They continue to work.
Exactly. And it provides a template. And they bring it over to Ford and say, here's what it's going to be.
But there's so many crazy things they do. The assembly plants, for example, have based on everything's seniority with the union, they have, and I forgot what they call them, they're like extra workers. They get assigned to come in, and they don't do anything.
Right.
They read books and play games and play cards and stuff in case they need somebody on the line.
Yeah.
And they do this day after day after day. But they have to hire so many of them.
Do you know what amazed me? I was in the Cleveland plant, Ford's Cleveland plant. The guy that pushes the broom gets the exact same pay as a guy that is welding up parts on a car.
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's amazing.
It is. It's.
You stop and think about it. All right, we're beating them up. In 2018, Massachusetts was right up there in opioid-related deaths. There was 2,032 ODs, among the highest in the nation on a percentage basis. The total in the nation was over 70,000 deaths. Now, a lot of these people are killed by dealers selling them illegal drugs, illegally. And they are killing them just as much as if they went up and hit them over the head with an axe.
Oh, absolutely. They don't care.
Nope. Now, the anti-gunners would like to bandy about this number of 42,000 handgun deaths a year. However, only 10,000. Now, folks,
everybody's going to say,
don't
well,
panic.
that's a long.
But it was 10. There are 10,000, approximately. I think it's 98 something handgun homicides in this country. And yet, you'd think the numbers would be reversed because, my word, That's handguns this, handguns that. We got to be in this. We got to be in that. Too much ammo in the street. Everybody's got guns. Blah, blah, blah. How about the dealers, the drug dealers that are peddling this crap that are killing people?
Mm-hmm.
How about those, folks? Don't you want the police to get them and arrest them and put them in jail? Prosecute them? No, you want to take guns away from legal gun owners. The legal gun owners are not
They're
this
not the
problem.
problem.
They're not the
So they're
problem
not
at
the
all.
problem.
It is the ones that steal guns, buy guns from that are stolen,
The tens
break
and
into
tens,
houses and steal
hundreds of thousands of gangbangers out there,
Yeah.
the street gangs and stuff.
that are packing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can't shake my son down. He's only a boy.
Yeah.
This searching,
He's got a 40 in his waistband.
yeah. Stop and
That's 40
frisk.
caliber, not 40 ounce.
Yeah. Stop and frisk is bad.
Yeah.
You can't be stopping my kid. He's packing a 9mm. None of your business. It's against the Constitution to do that.
Yeah, that's
I don't understand why, with 70,000 deaths, people are not standing up and screaming, stop the dealers. Put them in prison where they belong. And you know why, I'm afraid? Because there's an awful lot of people that enjoyed them as recreational drugs.
yeah. Yes. That leads in. I have something here. I just don't want to find it, but I'll just try to summarize a little bit. There's a movement now to stop calling it opioid addictions or opioid drug deaths, because while technically some of these are opioids, they're not what you think of as you go to the doctor and you broke some ribs like you got, and you get Percocet. Well, that's an opioid. But if that's not what's killing people, heroin is an opioid.
That's right.
But they always refer to them as everything is lumped in as opioids.
One big barrel.
And it's usually a combination, according to this article, it's an combination of things that kill you. And most of that, the biggest killer right now is fentanyl.
Fentanyl? In fact, someone famous just died. Combination of fentanyl.
Yeah, the Cars, the lead guitarist of Cars.
Yeah,
I
I don't know if it was him or not. I think it might have been the Los Angeles Angels ball player.
They found him dead in the apartment or the hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a combination of fentanyl, alcohol,
Yep.
and the drug.
Well, anyway, this article said you got to be careful. Don't rush to judgment with what you call opioids. They serve a very great service. I mean, if you're for painkiller, people that are in chronic, life-threatening pain, that's about the only thing that works. You don't want to get. They used to say throw the baby out with the dishwasher or dishwater or bath water rather.
Baby in the bathroom.
Because that's what happens. All of a sudden, doctors won't prescribe them anymore. They won't use them. Hospitals say, I don't want to touch them because I'm going to get sued. You don't want that. Now, fentanyl, for example, is a very powerful anesthetic. And it was used in joint with surgery. Of course, it got out, and they started bringing it in from China, a lot of it. And when it's misused, it's deadly. It has to be used under strict medical conditions.
Yeah. And we get cowboys cutting drugs with it.
Yeah.
Man, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. Joe Biden with an oldie but a goodie, as we recall his words to a largely black audience in Virginia. They, meaning the GOP, the Republicans, they are going to put you all back in chains. Gee, the Democrats playing the race card. Hard to believe.
Constantly.
If a Republican ever said that,
Oh, my God.
they would lynch him.
Yep.
Uncle Joe says it, and it's just Joe being Joe.
Yep. Well, that's everything's a double standard today.
It is. It is. And I'm not sure that he ever issued an apology and said, I shouldn't have said that. I didn't mean what I said.
One side can get away with just about anything.
Yeah.
And they just explain it away because you got the media on that one side, and they skew it one way, and they got the other.
It's hard to believe. It's also hard to believe that, now this is not exactly an innocuous statement, but even innocuous statements now are being blown out of proportion. It's getting to the point where you just can't say too much of anything.
That's right.
It's hard for me to believe that we're muzzling people the way we are.
Oh, absolutely we are.
Yeah, and kids in college come back with stories like, if you argue with the professor,
you're not going to pass.
you get a C.
Or-
You don't
or
get
worse.
an A.
Yep.
At Harvard, they were saying that A is what everybody gets.
Yep.
A minus if, something's missing. A B is tantamount to failure.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody gets any lower than that. But
No.
from Harvard, a B is the end of the world.
Yeah.
By the way,
Well, see, that's in Harvard's best interest.
that's right.
Everybody gets an A. They graduate. They're Harvard graduate. They go out and make a lot of money. They donate money back to Harvard. It's just a continual circle.
Money is the common denominator.
Yeah, you look at the hypocrites now with MIT and Harvard and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Total hypocrites.
They would take money from Jack the Ripper as long as nobody
absolutely.
knows about it. Oh, did we take money from an axe murderer? Oh, gosh.
Oh,
Worse, somebody that pats women
Yeah.
on the back
Yep.
side. Yeah. Oh, boy. Beto O'Rourke. God, you gotta love him.
He's got a different. It's not his real name.
No, it's something else.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Yeah, Beto is his nickname. He opines thusly: everyone has a right to live near their job.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to stupid statements, this guy leads about all the others.
I don't think there is a stupid statement with that group.
It's just
It's just them.
them.
They make the dumbest
Yeah,
statements.
everyone has a right to live near their work.
Yeah,
How the hell do you enforce that?
that's right.
Good grief. I mean, this is madness. And this is a candidate for president? I mean, how can you... Well, I'm just talking now. I'm just beating myself to death. Walmart is the largest grocery store company
Yeah,
in
they
the
are.
U.S. Larger than numbers 2 through 25 combined.
Yep.
Can you believe that?
It's hard to believe, but I think it probably is because, one, we don't have an influx of Walmart here. Remember that we didn't get Walmart until 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we didn't get Walmart grocery. They fought them.
There's only 1 or 2 Walmarts in Boston.
Yep.
They've stopped them.
Yep. But you get out the rest of the country,
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
Every place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they a lot of them got stopped here. I know Menino didn't like them because they didn't play ball with some charity he wanted. So he was make damn sure Walmart wasn't coming here.
And he did it under the guise of protecting
Yeah.
independent,
Yeah,
small
right.
family grocers.
He cared
Yeah.
a rat's
Yeah.
patoot about that.
That's right. And how about all the poor people who would love to save 30%?
Yeah, exactly.
The heck with them. Anyway, Walmart is I had no idea they were this big, but that market is so fragmented. You know, there is no other real major national grocery company like the old A&P used to be or something.
Yeah, some of them, I don't know if you got a total national anymore. Kroger is big.
I think they're number 2.
Are they? But they don't get. You don't see much in the Northeast.
No, you don't see them at all.
Safeway's big, but they're again Mississippi West.
Yeah.
Winn-Dixie, of course, is the South.
Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly.
You see that down south.
I remember one time they were somebody in Boston area was saying, "Oh, can you imagine having a chain called Piggly Wiggly?" And somebody Piggly Wiggly came back and says, "Can you imagine a chain called Roach Brothers?"
Well done.
Yeah, sometimes you shouldn't open your mouth.
That's right. But and there's a chain up around Buffalo in upstate New York, and that's starting to come this way. But they're all small.
Yeah.
Compared to
I think that's
Walmart.
what makes Walmart so imposing, is because they're national.
They are.
Completely national.
And 37% of the internet business this year will be done on Amazon.
Yep.
So between Walmart and Amazon, they are really dominating.
Oh, absolutely. And Amazon, for example, is into so much stuff.
I know, and they're finding new places to go. You know, one of the things that I've often wondered about is, you know, there's big money in insurance. Life insurance, the different forms of life insurance, annuities and things like that. Wouldn't you think that a little office inside a Walmart wouldn't be a bad idea? I don't know. I bet you they've looked at it.
The concept's been done before, you know.
Yeah.
Allstate and
right.
Sears.
Exactly. But as investments become more complex, Walmart could afford to buy out a small mutual fund family and install them right in the stores. Investment advice, insurance.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good concept with insurance. There was a concept offered to the state when they were closing up all the RMV offices because it costs too much to maintain these offices. And people like Walmart and Target made the offer. We'll let you have an office in the store. It helps us bring in traffic in. It helps you. We won't charge you any real estate. The state wouldn't go for it.
Yeah, you know what? Because I don't know, but I'm suspicious that these folks involved in the RMV look for kickbacks.
Oh, positively.
From real estate companies that place them in this building or that building.
Yeah. These companies are these organizations you're going to find more and more RMVs coming out now. Started off with things like the probation department, that they're loaded with patronage and cronyism, just packed with them. That's where there was dumping grounds for these people. Wall to wall, and that's what you get so many packed in there, and they're in management positions. They're in positions that make decisions, and that's why these places are so screwed up.
Are they ever? Because there's probably 1 out of 30 hires that's really qualified.
Yeah, exactly.
That understands what it is he's supposed to be doing.
Yep. The rest of them are there for their 22 and out or 25 and out.
Yeah.
Put my time in, get my pension. I don't care what the hell goes here.
Yeah. Who the hell cares?
Who cares? I got appointed by legislator so-and-so.
Yep.
My job is secure as long as he's alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless I do something incredibly stupid.
That the press gets a hold of.
The Norfolk prison pre-release center stands empty.
I didn't know that.
Now, it was empty. Now, I saw some cars by
Okay.
it today, but I don't think there's anyone locked up in there. And yet, we desperately need a prison rehab facility for criminal addicts. I mean, does anyone else see possible solutions to problems?
No, I don't think in this state they do.
No. And I mean, what a sin that Pondville Hospital has stood empty
Yeah.
for what? 15 years, 20 years,
Yeah, a long
25
time.
years?
I was one of the last patients there.
Yeah. I mean, good Lord.
That Pond, they were pre-leased. Was that called Pondville or Pond?
It was Pondville Hospital,
Yeah.
Pondville Cancer Hospital, and then Norwood Hospital bought it. Stewart
Stewart
Healthcare
Water,
bought it.
yeah, that's right.
Um,
Okay, 5, Bill.
okay. London has had 90 knife crimes reported so far this year. Soon, I suppose, they'll be looking to ban the knives.
Probably. The criminal element, if it's not a gun, they'll go for a knife. If it's not a gun or a knife, they'll go for a baseball bat.
That's right.
If not, they'll find a big rock.
Yeah.
You know, so it's they're going to do what they do.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder where I get this crap, but 13 people die weekly in their own beds due to strangulation or asphyxiation by their own bedding, pillows, sheets, or blankets. That's 675 people per year. Perhaps it's time to start a movement banning beds and all the associated folderol.
Those kind of stats seem shocking when you read them.
Yeah.
And you think, that can't be. But it really is. If you look at things like, I read sometimes, how many thousands of kids die every year on their bicycles?
I know. Yes.
But you think thousands. Can't be, but it is, because you're dealing with a base of, 350 million people here in this country. And when you start going worldwide, that might even be worldwide. It's 7 trillion.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because you stop and think about it. Everybody has an Uncle Larry that's an old drunk, and he chokes on some regurgitation during the night and strangles himself, that's fairly common. But strangling with your own sheets is interesting. But the average household credit card debt.
Oh, go ahead.
$5,700.
Yeah, easy that. Maybe more.
At an average interest rate of 17.8% annually.
Right.
Do you realize, folks, when you run up a bill of $5,700, you're paying 17.8% annual rate
That's right.
interest on going out and buying something or some things.
Next time you get a statement from your credit card, most of us who use credit cards, take a look at they have to give you a chart now. If you just make the minimum payment, this is how long this is going to take to pay this off, and this is how much you're going to pay in that amount of time. And it's scary.
It is very scary, let me tell you. And people live this way.
We got 2.
The poverty rate of the city of Philadelphia is 23%.
Yep.
Wow. Holy moly. A talking head said this recently on TV. The Republican Party is now the party of the workers, the family, and of dreams. What's your feeling on that?
Well, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between one party and the other as far as income anymore. Because if you go to the Democrats or this or the Republicans or that way, Democrats, you got to add all of Hollywood in there, all the media types.
Yeah.
But they don't want to talk about that.
Right.
They think, well, no, we're the 99%. The hell you are. You're the 1%. Most everybody on that stage on one of those debates are 1%ers.
Yeah.
And they used to talk about millionaires. Then they suddenly got pointed out, they are millionaires.
Yeah.
Then now it's billionaires.
Yeah. Now it's 1%.
Yep.
Yeah. One more thing. Would you dare?
Okay. One.
Would you dare to be an Uber or Lyft driver, i.e., go out after midnight picking up drunks?
No.
All sort of ne'er-do-well. And going into the worst neighborhoods, picking up dangerous people.
I wouldn't have been a taxi cab driver before that either. And you don't know who's going to get set in the back of you?
That's right.
Not a chance.
I wouldn't do that to save my soul. I'd sit out there with the tin cup shaking at first. Well, folks, we just got the signal that it's over.
They want us out of here.
They want us out of here, right. They're going to bring in the next bunch. But we enjoyed chatting with you folks. Hope you enjoyed it on your end.
And the shoe is still here after all these weeks.
We still have the shoe. I'm looking for the foot that goes in it. If you see a foot that might fit in it, by all means, send them here.
If you see another shoe looks something like that, give it to Bill. So you got a pair.
There you go. So I got a pair. Folks, have a good one.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.